Welcome to Raider Recap. I'm your host, Boss Martinez, and this is the sports podcast show here at Southwest High School, where we show you what your Raiders are doing on the weekly basis. This week, we got a good episode for you, talking about the first week game against Waco High School, how that went down, and some interviews with the head coach and key players from that game. As well as that, we're going to be talking about next week's game against Wilmer Hutchins as they play their first home game. Following that, we're going to be talking about the cross-country season, what their historic run entails. And to close it all out, we're going to be talking about volleyball, how their season is going, and what they look forward to doing next as district approaches. To start it all off, let's send it down to myself from the past with this key interview. So looking into last week, compared to last year, what was the main difference you saw?
As far as the difference, of course, much respect to Waco. I think we were a better team this year than we were last year. However, of course, the result was different. Tough loss was, I think, 32-35. Waco came out and played a really good football game. We played a really good football game, too. A lot of things to take from the game. As far as last year, I think we was able to score, points on special teams. And that's always big. Be able to score points on special teams. And I think this year the biggest difference was between we lost a lot of points on special teams. Kind of struggling to find a kicker right now. I think Johnny came out and did a wonderful job, though. I think he missed his first one. Then went for two to miss it again. So if you just look at it, a lot of people look at the game side 32-35. Yeah, we have a kicker and we have an established kicker in the special teams. That game is 35-35. So, of course, losing those points on extra points and things like that, I think that was the difference between last year, I would say, the special teams. We'll take accountability as a coaching staff and figure out how to get better on the special team side. But I think that's the biggest difference between last year and this year. Where if you look at last year, the opening play of the game was a home run touchdown from special teams. I don't think we moved the ball well last year on offense. We moved the ball really well this year on offense. So I think that will be the biggest difference between last year and this year is just the special teams.
Big thing I saw looking at film, you really went strong with the run game. A lot more on the running side than passing side. Why do you think that is?
Of course, our offensive line, those five guys coming back, and a center in Charles Barrett, a young pup that's really playing well. Offensive line led by Big Josh. But we saw it last year. We saw spurts of it last year why the run game would definitely be a dominant part of our offense. We talked about it throughout the entire summer. Martavius Boswell got a little banged up last year. So you weren't able to see as much of his explosion, but we saw enough to know that the kid is a special player. So I knew that if we could just keep him healthy, the offensive line, we came back throughout the entire summer, not even summer, just even the offseason from track and things like that. He really transformed his body and got in shape. And now you can see just how dynamic and explosive as a player he is. So I've been speaking on it. We'll play to the offensive line as well as letting Martavius Boswell touch the ball and be electrifying.
Mm-hmm. Talking about Martavius a little bit more, finding out got first in the poll. What does it mean? 4 touchdowns, pick 6, 2 interceptions. What does that player mean to your program?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised about how he goes about his day, how he goes about his business. So I'm not surprised he had the results that he had, and then for him to turn around and win that Texas Player of the Week. And he wasn't in there with no slaps either. He's there with a kid from Duncanville, and I think the kid from Lovejoy. The kid from Lovejoy, I think, had 8 touchdowns. So that just goes to show how the state feel about Martavius Boswell right now, and he's just getting going. He's just getting going. Like I said, this is just week 1 of what he can do and how dynamic of a player he can be. But having him on a team is I love it. I love the camaraderie, the relationship you have. There's no jealousy on the team. There's no, I should have got mine. No, everybody's pulling for him and he's pulling for everybody else. So he's a very selfless player. He's going to go 60 on offense, then turn right back around and go 98 on defense for a touchdown. And I told him, I said, the biggest thing I do is get in some shape. I said, you got to be in shape because we're going to play through you. Until you can go, we're going to put the ball in your hands and allow you to write you a ticket to college.
A little touchy subject here. I want to talk about that 2-minute offense towards the end of the game. What made you, as a coaching staff, want to focus on running the ball more than passing the ball, trying to get down the field?
Yeah, one or two things. Going into game specifics, most defense is going to get into a pass defense. You know, especially in a 2-minute drill, can we get in pass defense? And most offense coordinators are gonna throw the football. However, with a player as dynamic as Martavius Boswell that can take it to the house anytime, you always trying to give him a shot. You know, give him a shot so you can get chunk yards. You know, you get chunk yards once you get into plus territory, then you can start thinking, okay, cool, let's start throwing a football and get out of bounds like that. But a guy as electrifying as number 2, you got to at least let him touch the ball at some point in that 2-minute drill, you know, just to catch the defense off guard. You know, that's one of the things that you want to do, especially early in the 2-minute situation, is to go ahead and put the ball in his hands. And if he pop one, he give us chunk yards. He give us chunk yards, then we'll start trying to throw the ball.
Looking at the last 20 seconds, that last play, walk me through what happened there. What was the issue?
Yeah, it's definitely a situation that will work here in practice. That's one thing about football, man. It's working situational terms and things like that. So we went in and called 2 plays. You know, called 2 plays. We had out of timeouts. You know, so we had to burn some timeouts early. So again, that's better game management on my part. You know, I can do better with managing the game better and having those timeouts to call later on in the game. I think I had to use one early because I had 10 guys on the field on punt, and then another one so it wouldn't get delayed game on offense. So we got to do better of managing those timeouts. People take for granted how important timeouts are. So we had a timeout in our pocket. We could have banged the timeout and then called another play. But we tried to call 2 plays in a huddle, and we just didn't get up off the ground fast enough. You know, those things that you learn from, like 2-minute drill, the defense are going to try to lay on you. You know, we can't fight for yards. We got to get what we can get, boom, get right back up, get on the ball, either spike the ball or take a shot in the end zone. So I think that's what we can grow from that, just even giving ourselves a shot. You know, I don't think we gave ourselves a shot to getting back to the football fast enough and just taking a shot to the end zone to allow a Lawrence Taylor to go up over the top and catch a winning touchdown. So those are things that we'll continue to work on, and I'm glad we find it now. Like the first 3 games of the season are fact-finding missions. You know, whether you win all 3 or you lose all 3, what you want to accomplish is in front of you, and that's district play.
All right, Martavius, big day, big game you had. 2 interceptions, a pick 6 to the house, 4 touchdowns on the day. Mm-hmm. How could you read the quarterback so well?
Like, it was just like me going in the summer, like knowing like I go through all the progressions, like working with my team. We do player-led practice and stuff, and me knowing like I was just ready for the game. So like it was like I knew what was coming. Like I studied him since last year. Like we played him last year. I knew it was coming. I know he gonna throw the ball up because he coming off of ACL, so he not gonna run it.
What made you so dominant as a defensive end? How could you play the O-line so well?
Just studying and taking the time with your craft. Like me and Coach Simmons, we work so much. Been working actually with Coach Simmons since middle school, so I've been knowing how to play the DN spot for a long time. Just taking it day by day in the summer, working, lifting weights. Just taking it one day at a time, you know, just really progressing and learning your craft. It takes a lot to play that position because you have to read everything. Honestly, you got to read from the quarterback to the O-liner, how they pulling or they stepping over a counter, or just the running back. You got to read all of it. Can't get too far upfield. So it's all about the progression, how you play. You know, you just taking it one step at a time.
Right now, looking into next week's game against Wilmer Hutchins, a game you guys won pretty comfortably last year. What are some goals you guys are looking forward into taking upon yourselves into this year?
Just playing fast, scoring a lot of points, getting turnovers on defense, and just playing well as a team. You know, the main goal is to have fun, play well, play fast. We always preach play fast. The fastest team will win. The smartest team will win. We just got to be disciplined, fast, and just play football. I know we can do it. We're going to play football.
Just piggyback off Raylan, all we got to do is, like, just fix the little mistakes we had from last game. And I know they'll get us there.
It's all about execution. That's what all of our coaches preach all the time, is just execute, execute, execute.
Very exciting stuff. You can watch all these players and the coaches on the sidelines on Saturday as the Raiders take on Wilmer Hutchins at 10 a.m. at Clark Stadium. Now transitioning across country, your Raiders had a great meet racing in the SOUTHLAKE CARROLL Invitational. I'm the cross-country captain, so I want to give a little bit of insight to you about how this all went down. It's a big meet. It has some of the best runners and teams in the state all competing upwards of 2,500 runners from over 100 schools. Big meet. And your Raiders did a great job improving within their PRs, as you can see on screen now, which brings up a key point. The race for district, literally, is on. Your Southwest Raiders have a chance to do something that hasn't been done in over a decade. The Southwest Raiders are competing against Heights as their only competitor for the shot at winning district. Yep, you heard it. Your Raiders might be district champions for the first time in over a decade. We aren't going to say anything yet, though, as the district meet is still a whiles to go, and we still have other meets against a bunch of other good schools coming up, but we'll keep you informed about the latest news. The team competed well this week, but just wasn't able to run away with it as they dropped the games against Eastern Hills and Carter Riverside. They won pretty convincingly in the very first set against Eastern Hills, but wasn't able to hold their stamina all the way through the rest of the sets. Contrary, though, in Carter Riverside, they lost a close one in the first set, but in the second set, they took it right back. The remainder of the game looked quite the same way, as they lost each set only by a few points. This really shows the integrity and determination by this team as they keep improving and as they look to take on Diamond Hill Jarvis on Friday at 6:45 away at Diamond Hill Jarvis High School. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Tune in next week as we dive deeper into the games against Wilmer Hutchins, the meet with cross country as they take on the Marcus Invitational, and results from the volleyball girls as they compete against Diamond Hill Jarvis. I'm your host, Boss Martinez, and we'll see you next week.